From Immaturity by George Bernard Shaw. If you cannot get rid of the family skeleton, you may as well make it dance.
Welcome back to the Reading Room Ruffians, your favorite library podcast. Today, Ariel and I are bringing better understanding to the term in your dreams. This is Mallory, your sweet dream or beautiful nightmare. Your choice, really. I'm joined by my BFF and tantalizing terror, Ariel.
I am only a nightmare.
Our supreme overlord, Carla, is here, but she did not wear her PJs. Sad.
No. No PJs today.
We are recording from our library in Jackson County, West Virginia. Zach is here on behalf of the Sandman and is recording from Seattle, Washington.
Oh my god, I thought I had something and it just went away. Hold on a second.
Mr. Sandman, bring us a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen.
I'm leaving those crusties in your eyes in the morning, guys.
Yeah.
Rude. Before we get to it, you can find our Facebook group by searching Reading Room Ruffians Podcast, which is linked in our library's Facebook page at facebook.com/WVJCO Library. If that sounds a little different, that's because it is. We made a new Facebook page for reasons, and we would truly love it if you headed over to like and follow us there so we can regrow our page once more. You should also follow us on TikTok and Instagram at WVJCO Library and check out our podcast Goodreads page, which we have linked on our episode descriptions along with our personal Goodreads pages. So we decided to pick dreams for our, curiosity. And we've found a lot of really interesting and also funny stuff. I'll let Ariel start with the history.
All right. So first, dream interpretation is the process of assigning meanings to dreams, and it's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. I found that in a lot of ancient societies, such as Egypt and Greece, dreaming was considered supernatural communication, and it would, give you divine intervention, and they put a lot of meaning into their dreams. They had, people... That was their job, was to interpret dreams, which is, kind of cool. I would enjoy that. But most people currently in modern day appear to interpret dream content according to Freudian psychoanalysis, which we all know who Freud is.
And some of that's been disproven.
I know, but it just a lot of people.
Yeah.
But in the United States, India, and South Korea, that's what we kind of stick to. Now, I thought that was weird that it was just those three countries, but
that is kind of weird.
Whatever. And it says that more people assign meaning to their dreams than their similar waking thoughts. Meaning if you have a dream that your plane's going to crash the night before a flight, people are more likely to cancel their flight than if the Department of Homeland Security issues a federal warning.
That sounds about right.
You got to trust your gut.
And people are more likely to view their dreams confirming their waking thoughts than to believe that they're not confirming their waking thoughts. You have a dream that you marry this guy and then you're validating your ridiculous crush actions.
Yeah.
Because you're oh, but we're going to be married. I dreamed about it. Which I can't say I haven't done that. I have most definitely done that. Okay, so here's some history about it all. The early civilization. So the ancient Sumerians in Mesopotamia. I am talking too fast.
I think I am too.
Have left evidence of dream interpretation dating back to at least 31,000 BC. And their dreams were held to be extremely important for divination. Gudea, I think is how you pronounce this. I'm probably butchering that, but he was the king of the Sumerian city-states. He rebuilt a temple as a result of a dream, because in his dream he was told to do so. Yeah. And then there was an Assyrian king. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this man's name. It's 30 letters. There's no way. But anyways, he built a temple to Mamu, I believe. It's possibly the god of dreams. And he had a dream during a desperate military situation in which his divine patron, the goddess Ishtar, appeared to him and promised that she would lead him to victory. Now, it does not say whether he actually won. So, we don't know if that dream was legit.
Did Ishtar lie to him? Who knows?
No, who knows? In ancient Egypt, priests acted as dream interpreters, and hieroglyphics depicted dreams, and their interpretations are evident, apparently. I don't study hieroglyphics, but for those people out there. The ancient Greeks constructed temples called Asclepions. I don't speak other languages, people. Give me a break. But they would stick sick people in there to be cured. And they believed that through divine grace of incubating dreams would offer cures to these people. I don't know how legit that is. Probably a lot of people died, would be my guess. Then there was Artemidorus. I hate these names. Anyways, he wrote a comprehensive text called something that I can't pronounce, but it translates to the interpretation of dreams. He believed dreams could predict the future. He even believed that dreams could involve puns and could be understood by decoding the image of its, like the image of it into component words. And an example of this was that Alexander, while waging war against the Tyrians, dreamt that a satyr was dancing on his shield. This Artemidorus person reports that the dream was interpreted as following: Satyr equals Satyros, Tyre will be thine, predicting that Alexander would be triumphant. So, I don't know. Then we'll go to the Middle Ages. And the medieval Islamic psychology thought that there were 3 different kinds of dreams. There was the false, pathogenic, and true. And then there's a bunch of people that wrote a bunch of different books on dreams during this time period. I am not going to try to pronounce Islamic stuff, but the translated versions of these books was on sleep and dreams, on the cause of dreams, the book of opinions of the people of the ideal city, and the canon of medicine. And the canon of medicine, it encompassed emotional aspects, mental capacity, moral attitude, self-awareness, and then the movements of dreams. So that was kind of cool that they included all that stuff in there. And the man who wrote that stated that interpretations change their foundations according to the different conditions of the seer. So dreams will mean different things to different people is basically what that's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got 2 more things on history. We got China. They had a book called The Lofty Principles of Dream Interpretation. They thought that dreams raised profound ideas. And the man that wrote that book posed the question, how do we know we are dreaming, or how do we know we are awake, right? And he's like, once, we're going to say Chow, I think it's the person's last name, dreamed that he was a butterfly. He fluttered about happily, quite pleased with the state he was in. He knew nothing about Chow. Presently, he woke up and found that he was very much Chow again. Now, did Chow dream that he was a butterfly, or is the butterfly now dreaming that he was Chow? And it says it raises the question of reality monitoring in dreams, a topic of intense interest in modern cognitive neuroscience. It's kind of cool. But then it just goes on to say that, you know, in modern times, the psychoanalysis at the end of the 19th century with Sigmund Freud's his work, you know, is, you know, bringing along the interpretation of dreams and stuff now.
So people have found dreams important for thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah. And I know Zach's over here like, no.
I mean, they could definitely, like, you know, tell you something. I don't think they're prophetic, but, you know, apparently some people do.
I have a list of the 14 most common dreams, if we want to get into that now.
I think some dreams can be prophetic.
Oh, I definitely think so. I think
because I think
it's a type
it's
of
stuff
dream,
you're picking up on that maybe you're not processing, and
like,
and then you're
subconsciously
puts it all
picking them
together
up.
for
I
you.
don't know if that counts as prophetic. I get what you're saying. I do think that happens. It definitely does happen, but
I think a lot of dreams too are just like your brain trying to deal with the things that have happened, you know, in your life or that you've seen.
yeah, I'm just saying your plane crash dream is not prophetic.
It could be. You don't know.
Planes don't crash. You're just scared.
Not
or
necessarily.
watched,
Sometimes they
or
do.
watched too
Some
much Final
people-
Destination.
No, some people dreamed about the planes before 9/11.
Well, yeah.
And they didn't get
Yeah.
on the plane.
Yeah.
But that's like everybody dreams
that crap
about
went down.
their plane crashing everywhere, and it just happened that they were right once.
Well, as
Doesn't
long
make
as you
it-
follow through and you're right once, that's all
Exactly.
you need
I
to do.
mean,
Yeah.
it saved their lives, so good for them.
All right. So let's go ahead and get into the most common dreams. And then we can get into Mallory's stuff where it's more like about the different types of dreams and more specific things. So if you're having a dream about your regular day, all right, it's, people think it's boring, but it says because our brains are limited to what we know, the way we work through our stressors is by referencing how we live day to day. So when you're trying to interpret a dream where you just, have gone about your regular day, you need to look at what the theme is of your dream and see if that relates to anything. Now, it could mean nothing, and it could just be what is called day residue. And that just often happens when you dream about the day that you've had because it's just been on your mind.
I don't think those dreams are fair because you've spent the whole day there and then to go home and sleep and do it again. It's like there's no rest. No rest. This happens to me a lot here recently.
Okay. And then another really common one is when you're back at school and you're taking a test. These dreams usually are connected to work because school is considered our first job we ever had. And it's usually referring to a work challenge such as a new client or an evaluation or trying to get a promotion. It's just you're feeling tested in some way. Then we have you're hanging out with a celebrity, any celebrity, which we will probably get sidetracked on this one a little bit. But
We will.
it says, ask yourself, what is about this person that relates back to you? It could be that the movie they're in or a song of theirs or is relevant, and the message will be clear in the title of the movie or the lyrics to the song. So, like, say you dream about Christina Aguilera,
Mm-hmm.
and in the dream, there's nothing to do with any of her music, but maybe one of those songs relates back to something that's prominent in your life at the time.
Yeah.
It says if your friends in the dream, whatever it is about the celebrity that you like, it could be referring to something that you like about yourself also.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool.
I don't know about that one. Like, what if I just dream about, Emma Watson because she's hot as hell? I mean,
That's a different type of dream that
I
we're
was
not going to
gonna
be
say.
getting into, Zachary.
There's whenever I get into mine, there's a lot of different types of dreams and like the celebrity dreams they talk about. But yeah, there's like 5 or 6 different ways you can have like a celebrity dream. It'd be like friends, leathers, and I don't know what else. You like interact with them and sometimes save the world.
as you
Or,
do.
you
As
meet up
do.
with Batman at your
Normal
kid's elementary
things.
school.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of dreaming of schools, when I was in college, I dreamed that I had to go back to my elementary school, which went to 8th grade, and repeat all 8 years
Oh,
God.
gosh.
because they had lost my records. It didn't matter that I was in college. They had lost my records, so I had to go do it over again.
Imagine.
about
And then,
Billy Madison. It's not really like he just never finished it. I don't think.
Okay.
well, mine were gone. But it was the funny part is when we moved back and you guys were in school, I spent 9 years volunteering down there, which was kind of funny. But at the time, I'm thinking, I'm in college. Why do you need these records?
You had them before.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, who has to repeat first grade after they're in college because the records were gone?
All right. So another very common dream, and actually I have this one, or I had this one a lot. I don't necessarily have it so much more anymore, but it says your partner cheated on you. And this is, there's something that's taking up too much time or attention away from you, something that's causing you feeling cheated out of that time and attention with your partner. And if it doesn't have to be bad. Like if you have this dream and you wake up and you're not mad and you're not upset or anything like that, it could just be letting you know that something needs to be corrected. I don't know. I've had a lot of your partner cheating on you dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of mine relate back to like past things, but also the not getting time and attention. So it is what it is. And then the next one is you cheated on your partner, which these types of dreams often have some doubt about the person that they're with loyalty or their safety in the relationship. So It's not necessarily that you're thinking about cheating.
Yeah.
It's that you don't feel safe and secure in your relationship, or you're questioning your significant other's loyalty, which is kind of cool. Like, that's not how I would have interpreted that.
Yeah.
So
That does make sense, though.
yeah. And then another one is you're running late for something super important. I am surprised I do not have nightmares about this because I'm very particular about deadlines and times and stuff like that. But it says this one's self-explanatory. Timelines are likely still to blame, even if they're self-imposed. So you're just stressed about something. Yeah. If you dream you're pregnant, it's a reflection that something is growing or developing inside of you. It says a lot of women get this when they're working on a degree or even if they're on the verge of a new relationship. Nope.
Did not happen.
I've dreamed that I was pregnant before.
Mm-hmm. I did too. And then didn't you also one time have a dream that I was pregnant?
Yeah.
That was so weird. Like 3 people told me that they had a dream that I was pregnant, like around the same time. And I was like, y'all need to stop.
We was hopeful.
I'm pretty sure I dreamed I was pregnant.
We don't babies.
You would have made history.
Oh, man, I love that. That's great.
Oh, gosh. That's funny. Okay, so another one. You're standing on a cliff and suddenly you're falling into nothingness. This is associated with feeling out of control and overwhelmed, feeling unsupported and insecure. It says the devil is in the details, even though there may be a general interpretation of falling. What is most important are the particulars for the person dreaming. So are you like falling from grace? Are you falling out of an airplane? Are you falling off a cliff because the ground's suddenly falling away? You know, it depends on how it is you are falling. The next one is you've lost your voice and you're unable to call or shout for help. They actually said that this may not be a dream and it could be the result of sleep paralysis.
Oh my God, that's the worst thing ever.
I can see that.
So I never even thought about that. I don't think I've ever lost my voice in a dream before.
I don't think I have either.
But I've been so scared that I couldn't talk in my dreams. But it's not like I lost my voice. It was like a shock to me so much that I could not talk.
I don't think that that's ever happened to me in a dream either.
Oh, man.
It would be shocking
I still
if you
vividly
couldn't
remember
talk.
that dream, too.
Oh, my God.
That was rude.
I'm going to get you.
No, seriously, though, sleep paralysis is absolutely terrifying. I've only had it happen a couple times. One time I was in the car. I was not driving, obviously.
Wait a minute.
I don't know that I've ever really experienced that. If I do, I don't think that I've remembered.
I don't remember ever
I've
experiencing
had like some falling dreams, but it's usually where I'm like right on the edge of sleep.
Yep.
And you jump like, it
And
feels
I
like
don't-
6 inches out of the bed.
Yeah.
And then like I don't really feel like, I just feel like I'm falling really fast and then I stop. And
Yeah.
that's whenever I wake up.
Yeah,
No, I've heard
I
that.
jerk
is-
awake.
I've heard that is when you're starting to astral project, but you get scared and then, you jerk back in. I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of terrifying to me to think of that too. Just out wandering
That
around.
is, yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause I've heard you can get stuck like that.
Yeah,
So
you
that
can,
is
if you
scary.
can't find your body. Yeah.
All right. So the next one is you're naked in public. Now, this could be good or it could be bad. So if you're like embarrassed or feeling shame or whatever, it could be related to feelings of vulnerability or exposure. But if you're cool with it and you're like, whatever, it could be that you want to be seen, acknowledged, or admired.
I have never heard anyone have that dream that's like, oh, whatever.
I have, though.
Have you?
I have, yeah.
I want to say, do you remember that one that I just had like a couple weeks ago? My gynecologist was just like, this is happening right here. And I was like,
Cool.
okay. Like, this doesn't
Like
feel right.
middle of
but
a busy
okay.
street or something, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it's just like out in the public. I was like, this is weird. I guess we're going to do it, but okay. I felt like a lot of things that dream. It was really weird.
That was a weird one. I remember that one. Okay, the next one is your teeth are suddenly falling out. Now, I've had these dreams.
I have dreamed I have reached in and scooped them out.
Oh, no.
No.
It's very disturbing.
I've
It's just
went
disturbing
and
as
like
it sounds.
pushed against my teeth and feel them crumble.
Oh,
It's the worst. All right, so this is for us then. Pent up anxiety coming through in the form of a dream. It could be concern about one's potency, competence, strength, power, ability to take a bite out of the world. It's associated with times of change and transition.
Yeah, I thought it was my teeth warning me, quit gritting your jaw so much and driving your teeth into your sinuses.
yeah.
It could be that too,
That
I
too,
guess.
yeah.
But
No, it probably was anxiety.
yeah. Well, it's probably why you were grinding your teeth also.
Mhm.
Okay, so the next one is you're being chased. Now, I've had these ones too. I have a lot of nightmares, just so everyone's aware. I counted a little bit ago. I mentioned nightmares in the last year, and not nightmare. I had a nightmare. I had a nightmares, plural, 25 times in the last year in my text.
Can't have anything to do with your horror books.
That's like almost. That's like one a week. Almost. Well, one every other week.
One every other week. Yeah, it's a lot.
Pretty much.
And there's
so.
a reason why y'all wonder why I'm so tired all the time. Because I'm always having nightmares. All right. You're being chased. So if you're being chased by people are usually chased by a monster, but if you're being chased by a monster, it may be the manifestation of indiscretion, addiction, or a debt. But if you're being chased by someone you know, it could mean that your associations about the person chasing you would be more insightful than who is actually chasing you. But it says people in dreams can be substitutions for other people or even substitutions for aspects of ourselves. So you could be running away from certain problems or certain aspects that you don't want to confront right away.
Yeah.
So interesting. Next one, you're in a position of power, a CEO, president, queen, a religious figure. And this really depends on the person also.
Mm-hmm.
It says that most people who dream of being in a position of power are in fact not in a position of power. And it compensates or covers up the feelings of being powerless. But obviously, if you are in a position of power and you're dreaming of being in power, and it depends on if this dream is a good dream or a bad dream. It could be, the stresses of said power, of holding so much power, that kind of stuff. You're at an impossible, elegant dinner party, or you're with a deceased family member, or other impossible but positive scenarios. This dream can represent the need to supplement reality with fantasy, which, don't we all? Oops. Dreaming of a banquet is an attempt to satisfy the hunger of a missed meal. Dreaming of a dead loved one is a way to bring them back to life. They can help you process difficult emotions that you're experiencing, or simply just take comfort in feeling like they were able to spend time with said loved ones. So yeah, those are the most common ones according to Google. I've had a few of those. I've also had
a couple,
weird ones.
Have you ever had the dreams where you're it's like you're in a fight with somebody and you try to hit them and it's like you're in slow motion?
It's the worst.
Yeah.
It's like you're trying so hard.
So angry.
And it's like, you probably hit harder with a feather.
Yeah. Oh my God, it makes me
I probably
ridiculously
have, but
angry.
Most of the dreams that I remember where I fight something, I really fight it.
I've only had one like that, and that was my ex-husband was hunting me and my kids.
Ooh.
And I ended up stabbing him or something with a tree branch because we were out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
But that's the only one that I've had where I could actually fight the person. All the other ones, it's like I'm stuck underwater. Or
yes.
something. It's
In
the
Jell-O,
worst. Yes. You go to hit and you're like, you're like SpongeBob.
That's so wild.
I mean, it's so frustrating.
Oh, it
I've
makes me
heard
so
of those,
angry.
but I don't know that I've ever, I don't remember experiencing it. That doesn't mean I haven't, but
It's the worst.
yeah, usually if I'm fighting something, I really fight it. And I'm surprised I don't punch myself in the face, if we're being honest. Because I'm a flailer and I waller. I flip and flop. I just have reckless abandon while I sleep, which is also why I'm very tired all the time.
One time Zach was sleeping. This is one of my favorite stories. He was sleeping and he had his arm behind his head and he could just barely see his hand when he woke up. And he had been dreaming about something and it scared him and he grabbed his hand and he jerked real hard.
I pulled myself off the bed. It was bad.
So
It
glad I didn't
scared
take
the
a drink
bejesus
my
out of me.
tea.
I saw this hand right next to me and I grabbed it. I pulled so hard and I rolled myself right off the bed.
Oh my God.
I remember him telling me about that. I have not forgotten it since.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's got to been at least 15 years, if not 20 years ago.
I say it's more like 20.
That's
It was a long
amazing.
time ago.
Oh, God, it was so funny.
Oh my gosh. So we talked kind of a bit about different kinds of dreams, like the most popular. And we've gotten 2 books at the library. Do we have more already? I don't know.
Not any. Well, we've had more.
We've had them, yeah.
But
okay.
they go out and never come back.
Yeah. So this one is the A to Z Dream Dictionary, a dream symbol dictionary of over 1,600 of the most common dreams. It's by Damian Blair, and it's actually pretty wide. Like the front I like a lot because it has different categories of dreams, which I never really thought about until we started thinking about this. There are belief dreams, which are often religious, and that's like many believe that it's not subconscious, but actually a divine power trying to show you the way. Then there are nightmares, and obviously those are terrifying, but it says that those often come with a message, an urgent message that you need to pay attention to. So first of all, no, I'm good, thanks.
I don't want to dwell on that and interpret.
No. There's the psychologically healing dreams. I don't know what those are like, but they are seen as disturbing dreams, very similar to nightmares. However, they are slightly different. They usually revolve around one's past or daily experiences, but with the aim to heal one of them. Yeah.
Is that what I'm having instead of nightmares?
This is like a therapy dream. You're in therapy.
Yeah, you're
like
reliving your trauma, but like making it turn out your way or something.
Oh, well then no, they don't turn out my way.
Well, I mean,
they just suck.
So it says we have such dreams most often when we are stressed or need to make a difficult decision. They may represent negative scenarios, but the goal is to overcome the negative emotions, not create them.
I do want to, while we are on that subject, I do want to say for any of those, I learned this year, for any of those who suffer from like PTSD or like something to that effect, your dreams can they're not necessarily reliving your trauma, but you can relive the emotions of that trauma in those dreams. So if that's happening to you, it's normal.
Yeah.
You know, because I thought, what is going on with me? But it's normal. So
yep.
Maybe it's these, healing type dreams. You're trying to learn to cope with it.
Then there are the day-to-day dreams, which we went over already. Then there are physiological dreams, and those represent our very basic or direct desires. So feeling cold might actually mean getting up close to the window or another blanket sheet. They don't have to mean anything and are mostly a reminder sent by the brain to seek some form of action.
Is this like when you really have to pee in a dream?
Yeah.
And you dream of a commode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had those and been like, do not pee your pants. Do not pee your pants. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh, can I make it to the bathroom? Like when you got to stand up and cross your legs for like 30 seconds, be like, you are an adult. You can control your bladder.
Yeah, no. We learned this a long time ago. No, then there are compensatory dreams, and they represent the darker side of one's personality. They don't necessarily have to be dark or evil. They just simply show a shadow of our personality, as described by Carl Jung. According to this idea, such dreams represent the self that one tries to repress. So this one says, for instance, a businessman may see himself as a stage actor. That makes way more sense.
Or a strange one.
I mean, there are strange actors. That's fine. I cannot talk. A stage actor or a nun might see herself working in the secular world. These dreams can be meaningful if one decides to pay heed to them. Otherwise, they are just the brain's way of venting out the emotions that we can't show off to others in broad daylight. So, then there are problem-solving dreams, and those you just basically, you have one goal, and, you get to it. Usually can be inspirational or motivational, and they basically provide us with practical knowledge that we can use in our daily lives. So, like, even if you don't really do that sort of stuff every day, you can basically work yourself through it. It's pretty cool. There is lucid dreaming, which is kind of wild to really think about.
It is. It really is.
I think I've maybe done this like once or twice. I'm not totally certain, but okay. So lucid dreams have been the center of every hypothesis ever conducted related to research. The reason they are called lucid dreams is because the dreamer is usually aware of what is happening in the dream. The dream looks convincing that one often mistakes it for being real. However, characters in the dreams are often exaggerated. And the most important thing it says to note about lucid dreams is that since the dreamer is aware of being in them, they often try to manipulate the output. So they're often like really vivid dreams.
And you can control them.
My therapist wanted me to do that.
Yeah.
Lucid dreaming is really cool if you've ever been able to do it.
She told me, she's like, this is how you can, work through this unresolved trauma that you have.
Mhm.
She's like, take a weapon into your dream and kill the person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
We love some
And
dream murder.
She's like, I'm serious.
Make sure you're dreaming
bit
first
extreme.
before you follow through, I would say.
But I was. I sleepwalked.
And this is what my therapist told me to do.
yeah. I don't think I would go to jail for that.
Speaking of the lucid dreaming, Zach, do you remember when you were, I don't know, maybe somewhere between around 10, you woke up one morning and you were so excited that, and was telling me all about Conscious Dreamer City.
Yes.
And I guess it's a whole city full of lucid dreamers. Yeah.
Okay, so the whole idea is that people who can lucid dream will go to this city, and there's other real people in this city, and they all lucid dream together.
What?
That's crazy.
I don't.
You know what? I wonder if that relates back to our people who are living in dreams. Like maybe they don't realize they're lucid dreaming.
Maybe. I kind of wondered that too. Especially, so should we do that now or later?
No, we can touch on that in a bit.
Yeah, okay. We'll talk about that later, but we have two like really cool stories that are also kind of scary to think about, really.
But they kind of relate back to this. So
To lucid dreaming, yeah.
just keep that in mind, people.
And then there are psychic or prophetic dreams, which Zach has already said no to. But it says they're highly uncommon. But it's basically, you have a dream about something and then witness something similar, if not the same thing, happening in the near future.
There's actually a word. Okay, so you know how people have like deja vu?
Mhm.
There's another word that's deja something or other. I can't remember. But it's when you dream about something and then you see it in real life.
Aha.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's something similar to that.
I should know this because I heard this not too long ago.
See, I heard it not too long. Maybe you sent it to me. I don't know, but
Maybe.
because there was a woman talking about it. She's like, I thought I was having deja vu. And she's like, I found out it's actually called this. And it's when I've dreamt about something. And I've done that.
It's deja reve.
Where I'm like,
I know it's French. Who knows how you pronounce that? It's deja reve. R-E-V-E. But it's got thingies over the letters.
I'm watching Mallory because she took French. She's dying.
Well, Mallory, how do you
just gonna let you
pronounce
have that.
deja reve?
Nope, I'm just going to let you have it.
Well, it's probably not you. You probably don't pronounce any of those letters. It's probably deja vu. Stupid language.
Okay, I gotta quit. Okay. Okay, but yeah, basically, science suggests there is no such thing, that anything is prophetic at all. And, that's science.
Is that
For
What
now.
does science
For
know?
now.
I was going to say, is Zach just science?
For now, yeah. And then finally, there's recurring dreams, which I don't know if a lot of people have ever had them. I had never experienced them until like fairly later in life, but it's basically you have the same dream over and over. And this is not just like in one night. It's, over long spans of time, sometimes multiple nights in a row, sometimes over like years and decades. But yeah, those you have pretty much anything that you have multiple times is a recurring dream.
I've had reoccurring dreams as an adult, but also we were talking about this when we were down at my grandma's. Me and my aunt both have had reoccurring dreams that every time we got sick, we would have the same dream. And they made no sense, but they were terrifying.
Kind of like fever dreams?
Kind of. But like, you're going to laugh at me at this one. It's so stupid. Everything's in grayscale, right?
Yeah.
And there's an itty bitty tiny box being held by a giant rope. And that terrifies me because I'm scared that the rope is going to crush the box. Well, then it switches to a giant box being held by a thread. And I'm terrified that the box is going to fall and smash. And that is the entire dream.
Huh.
Hers is the knots.
Yeah, hers
like
is knots.
It's just a line, and then there's this big tangle of knots, and then the line, and that tangle just...
And hers is in grayscale too.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
But it's absolutely terrifying. It's one of the scariest dreams I ever had. And I had it every single time I was sick.
It scared her. I mean, the tangle dream.
That's wild.
Yeah. Not a clue what that means, but...
No. That's wild.
yeah.
I just can't even...
And they're common. These are common.
Yeah, these
Like,
are a common thing to happen.
Yeah.
Other people have had these same kind of dreams,
That's so wild.
especially the tangle one.
Yeah.
Huh. See, I don't think that I've ever had anything like that.
But yeah, I've had other recurring dreams about certain places and doing certain things, but
Yeah, I've had recurring dreams
Normally-
before as well. Just like they come back once every couple of years, and I'm like, oh man, it's this dream again. I'll usually realize it in the dream too. I was like, man.
yeah. See, I hate that.
You
yeah.
remember
Yeah.
it, yeah.
But then I wake up usually as soon as I
See,
realize.
I've had exactly one recurring dream. But I don't like it's evolved at this point. I don't know, like is it a recurring dream if you kind of pick up where you left off sometimes, or
I don't know, but I've done that too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just the new season
Is that one
coming out.
Yeah, I think so. So
Your brain's developed a new season. We're good now.
yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and go into this one because it's so like. Does everybody have recurring dreams ready for this one?
Oh, I mean, I just told you mine.
Well, yeah, but okay. So mine is the movie Tremors, and
I forgot about this.
I'm in the movie. Okay, so the very first time I had this, it was me basically watching the movie. But trying to like manipulate like the guys, no, this can't happen like this. You got to stop doing this stuff. They can hear you. And they're like, no, we don't believe you. We don't know you, blah, 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 the whole thing. And so we go through basically the whole movie. And after things start happening that I told them was going to happen, they were like, oh, crap. Like, we should have listened to her. And I was just like, like we could have changed this whole outcome if you had just listened to me. And it was like that for a couple of times. And then I think probably the third or fourth time I had the dream, they finally listened to me. And they were like, oh, yeah, she knows what she's talking about. So, like, basically we were able to do the movie, but in my way. And it was really fun. It was really fun. And then it finally got to the point where I would just have these dreams. The very last one that I had has been a couple of years ago. And I was just out, completely unrelated to Tremors at all. I was in this nice, like, open, pretty park area. There was, like, parties going on, people walking dogs. And I just remember suddenly thinking, oh, no, they're here. And I went to the playground, and I kind of just, like, stood on the monkey bars, and I didn't move anymore. And like people were just looking at me like I was insane, which fair point. I didn't like just, but people would come over and ask me and I'm like, the Tremors are coming. You need to get off the ground. Like, stop moving, just stop. And nobody listened to me. And just suddenly they started jumping out of the ground like dolphins and then just like diving back in, just like it was water, but it was ground. And I just watched all the chaos. Like, what is happening right now? Like, this is weird. This is new. This must be a different kind. And then I watched them evolve even more. And essentially they turned into like these spirit things. And I watched one go into a dog and then start devouring people.
Dang.
Yeah. I woke up and I was like, please don't ever let me have this again. Like, I don't want to see dogs being Tremors. No, thank you.
Dang.
So wait a second, the ghost spirit thing of a graboid went into a dog and it started eating things. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah. And like the dog turned into like this big, you know what those things look like. It turned in basically to that, but it still looked like the dog. Like, it was furry.
But it was a giant graboid dog. Did it go underneath the ground?
It did. It did,
my
though.
gosh.
Like, it did the diving thing, too. And it was just so weird. Because, like, I'll tell you what kind of dog it was, too. It was like a little Scottish Terrier, which made it even funnier. I don't know. It which made it even funnier because this thing went from, like, a tiny little dog. I just watched it just, like, form into, like, a dog. Like, massive. It was hilarious, but also terrifying at the time. Like, talking about it now, it's absolutely hilarious. But then I was like, what am I watching? Like,
Speaking of Tremors,
I don't like this movie anymore.
Fantastic movie. Okay.
Really?
The
Yeah,
first
it's
one
a
is
good
amazing.
movie,
The
yes.
second one's meh. The third and fourth one are terrible. I loved them.
Yes. Watch them all anyway. Yeah. But yeah, so the rest of this book is essentially just different things that you can find in your dreams and what they might mean. And so we've got like a bunch of random things like dancing. So dancing in your dreams indicates that you are feeling liberated and unconstrained, even if your waking reality is constrained. If you have a dream about dancing with a partner, it represents closeness and the union of your feminine and masculine sides. If you were in charge, it may also signify having greater influence over your life. And then if someone invites you to dance in your dream, it implies you are incomplete without help of others. You're a follower who relies on others for support, which I find rude. Whatever.
All right, here, I'm going to tell you a dream and you're going to look up what it meant.
Okay.
Okay, so I had this nightmare back when I lived with my mom, so it's been a few years, but I was outside and it was raining, it was storming, and I was trying to get someone inside. I don't remember who it was. I didn't have kids at this point, obviously, so it wasn't my kids. But I remember getting struck by lightning, right? And I remember dying. I remember my body dying, and I was thinking, just keep breathing. You can't die. Just keep breathing. But I could feel myself fading. So look at what lightning strikes mean, maybe. Or dying in your dream. We'll see what it says. Yeah. So I've always had nightmares, though. Like, this is...
Yeah, you have.
See, I get library. Let's save that one for later. I get nightmares, but only if I'm hot. Like if I get overheated at night, I have nightmares.
Yeah.
And I always wake up just like sweating. And I know it's not from the dream itself because there's a difference in like exertion in a dream and me being overheated. Let me see here. Lightning. Seeking immediate awareness and insight in a dream is a sign of spiritual awakening. Is seeing lightning in your dreams. Lightning, on the other hand, is a sign of a sudden unexpected change. Factors beyond your control have a significant impact on your life and may even be harmful.
Maybe being struck and you were dying is like you were definitely going to change whether
I liked it or not.
Yeah.
Surprise!
The old
this
self
is
gone.
happening.
The new self is there.
Love that for me.
Okay, that one doesn't have dying in it, but this one might.
Yeah, I've had a lot of nightmares like people, well, my most recent nightmares were people committing suicide, which was traumatic. Woke up crying in those. I've had dreams of being hunted. I've had nightmares of being cheated on. I've had nightmares of people being in my mom's house where they shouldn't be. That's the one I vividly remember. You remember that one I told you about? I walked into your house and there was a man there. And he was in black and white, and everything else was in color. And he just looks at me and goes, "Hello," and
vaguely, yes.
And it scared me so bad that I couldn't talk in my dream. I couldn't breathe, and that's how I woke up.
Wow. Now I've had dreams where I can't breathe. At one time, I was trying to get into like a locked mall. It was when I was in college. I had a lot of nightmares in college.
Yeah.
And I was pounding on the door. I knew if I could just get someone's attention, the door would open and I could breathe again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I'd stopped breathing that time in my dream.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay, what's it
So
done?
death. It's under death in the second book. The second book is the Dream Interpretation Dictionary. There are symbols, signs, and meanings, and that is by J.M. DeBoard. And so basically, if I can't find it in the other book, it's in this one. So
nice.
Pretty cool. This one also has suicide in it, which I looked up because of your
Yeah.
dreams. So death in a dream can indicate a big change in your life or yourself. In simplest terms, death is the end, and in dreams speak, that means the end of something, such as a situation or phase of life. When related to yourself, it can mean that some part of yourself is passing away, you're maturing, or some aspect of yourself is under threat. For example, a distressful dream about a child dying can mean that an innocent and joyful part of yourself is receding. You need more fun, or perhaps the child represents an immature part of yourself that needs to grow up. In which case, the feeling is entirely different. You know deep inside that it's all right for the child to pass on, but if you're having difficulty letting go, these dreams can be distressful, even terrifying.
Huh.
There's like a lot more, like this one starts here and goes over to here. So there's like all kinds of different scenarios in which death can be.
Yeah.
But I don't know about like, I would say being aware that you can't die is probably also some lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah. I don't know. I've had a lot of, I've had so many nightmares in my life now that I wake up and I'm like, another one.
Yeah.
But I do have some that are so bad that I wake up and I'm shaking and I'm like, was that a dream? Is this really happening?
Okay, I hate that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those are the worst.
Or you get up and you check the news immediately to see if...
Yeah. I've had past life dreams is what I think they are. How do you feel about that, Zach?
Nonsense.
Okay, then explain.
Mr. Where's My Daddy?
Okay.
No, the China one.
Yeah, no. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember. Well, I don't remember
Yeah,
that, obviously, because I was very small. But I remember you telling me about that. That doesn't mean that I wasn't just a kooky little kid who made stuff up.
it stopped us both, Mom and me. I mean, we didn't say anything. We just stared at you with our mouths open for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, explain it to me when I dreamed about being in some like third world country tribe like thing, right? And there was a parasite in me, and we had to. This is disgusting. I am apologizing to everybody listening.
Trigger warning now.
Yeah. Okay. So I was this person. I was infected with this parasite, and it was like similar to like a tapeworm or something like that to that point. And it would come out of your skin, right, to lay eggs. Oh God, it's giving me chills just to think about. But you would take it, and you would take a twig, and you would slowly wrap it.
That's a thing.
It is a thing. I looked it up later. Now, I was a child when I dreamed of this, right? You slowly wrap it, and if the worm breaks, you go into anaphylactic shock.
Oh, my.
And when you're pulling it out, it burns so bad that you put your foot or your body or whatever in the water, and that's how they spread their eggs. Yeah. Looked it up later. I ended up going into anaphylactic shock and dying in my dream.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. But I looked this up later as an adult, and that is a legitimate
Yeah,
thing.
I've heard of this. It's disgusting.
Me too.
But I had this dream when I was like, how old was I? I was really young.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I also had dreams about being gassed with mustard gas.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what that was. But I remember explaining it to our dad and being like, it was yellow and we couldn't breathe it because if we breathed it, we would die. And he's like, that sounds like mustard gas.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me past life dreams aren't real.
I mean, I can tell you.
Remembering something.
Probably
But you'd be wrong.
It's probably true. It's not real. I don't know. Maybe you heard it somewhere.
I have one recollection or dream. I don't know what it was. I can't really remember, but I am somewhere in a northern country, like Finland or somewhere along the ocean. And there's this little dock, and it was like Viking type clothing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And somebody has brought in fish, and I am arguing with them.
I remember you told me this.
Yeah, to the point. I mean, I was getting angry, and I looked over, and my brother was with me.
Yeah.
And he gave me this look. It's like, if you don't stop and I have to kill this guy, you will regret it. So,
And let it be noted that she doesn't have a brother in real life.
No, I don't. But it was like, and I just wouldn't shut up. I mean, I was like, I don't know what I was. I don't know why I was so mad over fish.
That's
but,
so funny.
But I can distinctly remember that look in his eye. It's like, you better calm it down, because if I have to kill him,
I'm going to kill you
because
next.
of this.
You're dead next.
I'm trying to think.
Funny.
We need to circle back to the celebrities because
that's
this is
right.
Yeah,
so
the celebrities
funny.
and the lucid dreaming
Yes.
city.
This one has.
That blows my mind. That blows my mind.
Snoop Dogg. Amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's Snoop Dogg. So
And you get that little tune in your mind now, don't you, play it?
Yeah. This one is the second one, the Dream Interpretation Dictionary. So it's mostly. This one is also a lot of the symbols and signs and meanings, but it's a bigger book, and it's also possibly
I think it's
thicker.
more in depth. Maybe.
Yeah. They really go in depth, and there's a lot more stuff in here than I was expecting to find. Specifically, there is an entry on Snoop Dogg, and apparently it's because he's one of the most common people that people dream about. And
I have never dreamed about Snoop Dogg.
I didn't even think about him. I probably will now.
Yeah, I know. Tonight we're all going to dream about Snoop Dogg.
But it says that famous people and celebrities appear often in dreams, but few of them are in the Hall of Fame. Snoop is a huge figure in the cultural landscape, so it's not surprising that he appears in dreams. The surprise is the frequency, at least from a macro perspective. So there's a lot of different ways that you can interpret having Snoop Dogg in your dreams. And there's like basically you connect your associations with Snoop Dogg with the dream story and ask what it says about you. He can be used in connection with the association of him as a party animal. He's almost always high, and his persona is shaped around it, which, you know what, he's not doing that anymore. So go Snoop. Good for you. Live your life. And then he's also used in connection with his success as a musician, which can basically talk about your desire or want to be famous or successful in music. He's also used to symbolize someone who's admired, grew up in a tough situation, and then made good out of it. And that could basically be overcoming adversity. And he can just be like someone respected for style and social prominence. So that's essentially like, that's what you want to be or how you see yourself. So, and then, yeah, celebrities and dreams is a whole funny thing.
Yeah.
We've had some funny dream encounters with celebrities.
Oh, yeah.
Mine didn't end so well.
Mine ended fantastic. Me and Batman we're on another level with our relationship.
Love that. Love that.
Batman.
I love that.
I love him.
I want to dream about
recently
Snoop
had a
Dogg
dream.
now.
I know. I saw him in concert the year I turned 21. It was very fun. It was him and Wiz Khalifa. That was a wild concert. Anyway, so yeah, I had a dream once that Tom Hiddleston and I were secretly married. I went
remember
through
that, yeah.
I thought there was one I couldn't find it in our chat, so I don't know where I told it to you guys. I know that I did though.
Yeah.
But I was saving the world with somebody, and we were like in love also, and we were like, well, let's just save the world first, and then we can get married or whatever. I don't remember who it was though, and it makes me so angry.
I can't either though.
Because it was such a funny dream. Because I woke up and was like, I don't even think it was somebody who would actually save the world though. Like I think it was just like it was a celebrity. I just don't know who.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. The first dream I ever had about a celebrity, though, was whenever I was in middle school. I had a dream that Prince Harry came to visit the middle school, and he was like, well, I'm going to marry you. And I was like, okay. In middle school.
Child marriage. It's all right.
Right? Yeah. Like,
That'd be like the real
Nothing wrong
royalty
here.
back in the day.
It would be.
Basically.
Channeling
I was like,
that.
all right.
All right. Do we
Oh
want to
my
circle
God.
back to our...
Yes.
Okay. So Zach mentioned this Lucid City.
Yes.
Right.
Conscious Dreamer City.
Lucid City. I like that better. And we have a couple stories about people who were living in dreams for years. So I'm going to read mine and then she can tell hers.
Yeah.
And Zach, actually, you sent me this and I found it later. I actually found the story I wrote down. So there was this man who was in his last semester at college, and he had been assaulted by a football player when he was walking because he apparently walked in front of where this football player wanted to drive. Right? Yeah. So dude's little, dude's like 120 pounds, football player's like 325. Like huge difference, right? So he ends up getting knocked unconscious. And while he is unconscious, he has an entire different life. He meets a woman. I'll read it word for word what he said. I met a wonderful young lady. She made my heart skip a beat and my face red. I pursued her for months and dispatched a few jerk boyfriends before I finally won her over. After 2 years, we got married, and almost immediately she bore me a daughter. I had a great job, and my wife didn't have to work outside the house. When my daughter was 2, my wife bore me a son. My son was the joy of my life. I would walk into his room every morning before I left for work and doted on him and my daughter. One day, while sitting on the couch, I noticed that the perspective of the lamp was odd, right? Like inverted, but it was still in 3D, just wrong. It was a square lamp base, red with gold trim on 4 legs, and a white square shade. I was transfixed. I couldn't look away from it. I stayed up all night staring at it until the next morning. I didn't go to work. Something was just not right about that lamp. I stopped eating. I left the couch only to use the bathroom at first. Soon I stopped that too, as I wasn't eating or drinking. I stared at the lamp. He throws some spicy words in there. I stared at the lamp for 3 days before my wife got really worried. She had someone come and try to talk to me, but by this time my cognizance was breaking up and my wife was freaking out. She took the kids to her mother's house just before I had my epiphany. The lamp is not real. The house is not real. My wife, my kids, none of that is real. The last 10 years of my life are not real. Right? The lamp started to grow wider and deeper. It was still inverted dimensions. It took up my entire perspective, and all I could see was red. I heard voices, screams, all kinds of weird noises, and I became aware of pain. A ton of pain. The first words I said were, I'm missing teeth. And I opened my eyes. I was laying on my back on the sidewalk, surrounded by people that I didn't know. Lots were freaking out, and I was completely confused. At some point, a cop scooped me up, walked me across the sidewalk and grass, and threw me face down in the back of a cop car. I was still confused. I was taken to the hospital by the cop. Seems he didn't want to wait on the ambulance to arrive, and given CT scans. I went through about 3 years of horrid depression as I was grieving the loss of my wife and children and dealing with the knowledge that they never existed. I was scared that I was going insane as I would cry myself to sleep, hoping I would see her in my dreams. I never have, but sometimes I see my son, usually just a glimpse out of my peripheral vision. He is perpetually 5 years old, and I can never hear what he says.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is just like traumatic on a whole new level.
Yeah. So I watched a TikTok the other night, and it was a woman who is from New Zealand, and she says that she was getting ready to start uni the next day, and so she went to bed early and all this other stuff. She said basically she's always been very aware in her dreams, and so she, I would say, is basically a professional lucid dreamer, and so she went to sleep, and in the dream, she was basically just doing like day-to-day things. Like she had gone to class the next day, and she had come home and was getting ready to go to bed. And then at that moment, she was like, I've never slept in a dream before. And I also just, And so she was like, I'll just wake up whenever I go to sleep. She didn't. She slept through the whole night and woke up the next morning and basically continued living. And every now and then she would just be like, I can't believe I've not woken up yet. Like, I really should be awake by now. Like, how long has it been? And she then finds out that she's pregnant in her dream. And she's like,
It's like, how'd that happen?
Yeah, she's like, I've had pregnant dreams before, like dreams of me being pregnant. So it wasn't a big deal. She was like, but then I went through the whole 9 months of pregnancy and I was going in to give birth. And she was like, I've never had birth. I've never given birth in one of my dreams. I'll wake up then. And she didn't. And so then she said, basically, she was just like, am I ever going to see my family again? Like, how long have I been asleep? This must be, I've probably missed school by now. And then she says, on her son's second birthday, she fully just gave up the idea that she was ever going to wake up. She had only lived in this dream now. And so she just basically like started living in there. And she says she never had a husband. Like she never knew who the dad was. She just was kind of pregnant. So, it was just her and her son. And she continued like raising him, married him off, saw him through college and all this other stuff. And on his 40th birthday, she threw him a surprise party. And that was whenever she woke up. And she said that she mourned. Because, she spent over 40 years in this dream.
Yeah.
And it was the same night.
With a child.
Yeah. She had it, grew and had a child, raised him, and saw him have babies, became a grandmother, all of this stuff. And she lived every one of those days. Over 40 years of days and nights in one dream.
How would you even make up that?
I don't know. That's what she said. I've never told anybody because I didn't want to be seen as crazy. How would anybody believe I had that long of a dream and it just be legitimately me living my life? She was like, I mourned my whole life, my son, that I don't have a son, that I don't, didn't actually experience that. And it's just such a weird, wow. I cried on that video.
Yeah, it's giving me goosebumps.
Yeah, she just, so much detail. She gave so much detail in that. It was like a 3 or 5 minute video. It was in depth. And she talked about what he looked like and all this other stuff. Oh my gosh, it was just, I cried for her.
Now, it makes you wonder what happens to these dream children?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having lucid dreams and going to the city or whatever, I could see that happening. And I could see you not realizing you're lucid dreaming and going to the city and living a life within the city. But the kids, what happens to the kids?
They never existed.
That really makes you think.
Zachary?
But if there is the lucid city dream.
What if they did? What if it's just another plane of existence? What if they're on the same level as ghosts and spirits and stuff?
Or even just their own plane. Because
but
if we're just traveling to that plane in dreams.
Yeah.
That's oof.
That's sad.
It is sad.
That makes me sad.
It kind of makes me think about this. It was a paranormal type thing where this guy had walked out. I want to think it was an adult man. He'd walked out towards a well or out into a field and his footprints just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
In the white, it just disappeared. It was snowy or something. Mm-hmm. And occasionally they could hear him hollering. What if it's that type of you've stepped into a different...
Yeah.
That'd be scary.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you think.
It really does. Because I don't know how I would handle
Oh, I couldn't.
Well, and the fact that he dreams of just the sun.
Yeah.
That's also.
Yeah.
It's like, what if this, what if he's still in the other place?
Yeah,
and this
trying
is the
to
dream,
get back.
and they're trying to wake him up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
Ooh.
okay.
Ooh.
So,
Yeah.
so I'm going to tell myself a little bit here. So when I was like 18, 19, I did some things that were illegal that I shouldn't have done. Right. And it caused me to disassociate a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did not think there was times that I thought that I was not real. Right. And it's just because I couldn't cope with what was going on in my life. I was in a very abusive marriage, and I had a child as a teenager. Like I was not in a good spot in my life.
Yeah.
So I got to the point where I felt like me being awake was not real.
Yeah.
And I always questioned, I was like, what if this is actually just a really vivid dream?
Yeah.
And that, I can't think about things like that because I've experienced the, mentality of being like, I don't know what's real.
Yeah.
So it's bad.
Yeah.
There have been dreams where I've woken up and I really do not know where I am.
Yeah, those are the worst.
Yeah, I have done that.
Mhm. I don't
It's
know
like,
who
where
I
am
am. I don't know where I am. Even if, I lived in one of my apartments for a couple of years in Morgantown, and I legitimately woke up one time and I had no idea. I didn't know my own name. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I looked like.
You factory reset.
Yeah, it really felt like that. And I laid in my bed terrified for a solid 20 minutes before my brain finally was like, hey, we know what this is. And it's like,
yeah.
Well, are you going to tell?
Who am I though?
yeah. And it just kind of almost like a light switch. Somebody turned it on. I was like, oh, so I've just been anxious this whole time for no reason. Where did all of that go? Where did my brain go?
I get that.
Those are terrifying.
They are terrifying.
I've never had it happen that long.
Yeah.
No, that's a long time to be.
Because it was I don't even remember actually having a dream that night, but I was just I think I had one recently where I was telling you, I took a screenshot of it, but basically I was having a nightmare, and I do remember this nightmare, but I woke up and everything was black, and I knew that I was awake, but I also didn't know me. And I was like, I think if I go back to sleep, I'll know. And I think, okay, let me hold on.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
But I get that. I've done that.
It's so weird.
I've woken up from nightmares and just, I felt like I was still in the nightmare, and I had to coach myself that, I literally had to physically talk to myself. It was just a dream. It was not a nightmare. But it still felt like whatever it was that was hunting me or watching me was still there.
It wasn't maybe a month ago. I woke up screaming no. And I blocked whatever that was because I can't remember what it was now that I was.
Takes you back to our alien things.
I think this had to do with more something happening to you or the kids or something but I really don't know. I was screaming.
Yeah, I woke up crying when I had that nightmare about Zach hanging himself.
Yeah.
Oof. That one was rough.
That one was rough.
What a loss to the world.
I literally, and then he
At
does
least
this.
to us.
Keep it up, Zach. I'll get the rope.
Oh my God. So basically, this is what happened. I don't know what my brain was doing last night, but I woke up from a nightmare. I don't know who I was with or where we were, but something was hunting us and we were just trying to eat pizza. When I started waking up, my dream went black, but I also kept seeing what was happening, my brain turned the brightness all the way down. I don't know how to explain that. But yeah, I've never done anything like that before, and it was really, really weird. I
love that your dreams are oh, we were just doing this, and then something awful happened.
Yes, that's pretty much how my dreams are. I do fairly normal stuff, but something weird will happen. I don't remember anything about this dream, but I remember I was in the high school. I don't think I was of high school age, in the dream. I think I was just back there, and then suddenly there were chickens in the school. And I remember thinking why is this happening? What sense does this make? This makes no sense. And I don't remember. And then it turned into a doctor's office or something, but the chickens were still there and we were trying to get the chickens out. And I was like, this is nuts. What? And then I woke up and I was just I don't even know.
That's crazy.
I
Okay,
remember
I
the
gotta
context
ask you,
of it,
did you
though,
do
but-
this when you had kids? Because I think it's pretty common, but where you have nightmares about certain things happening to your kids after you first have them?
That's been a while, but probably. I remember I would spend many moments watching to make sure you're breathing.
Oh, see, I do that with my kids. I still do that with my kids, but when I had
really, really still too, it's like you don't want to wake them if they're just asleep, but you're ready to pounce and shake them if you have
and you're
to.
like, are they breathing? It's been an awfully long time since I saw their chest move.
Is that too many seconds without breathing?
Yeah. But no, when I had Alex, I dreamed of leaving him in the car all the time. I always had nightmares about that. And then when I had Rowan,
I didn't do stuff like that.
When I had Rowan, I always dreamed about her drowning.
Oof.
To the point that I had a dream that I was driving. I had Anton at this point, and I never really had nightmares with him. I guess maybe I was a seasoned mom by that point. But I was driving my van, and it started raining really bad, and there was a flash flood, and it swept my van out. And like we were like starting to sink, but we were floating enough. And I remember thinking, how will I save all three?
Yeah.
Because they can't swim.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, how are you supposed to swim in a flash flood anyways? You just hope for the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, gosh, those are the worst.
Mm-hmm. Oof.
But yeah, I was always terrified. I don't know how often I went and checked to make sure I hadn't left Alex in the car. And then when I would like drop him at my grandma's and I would go to work, I'd look in the rearview mirror. I'm pretty sure I spent more time looking in the rearview mirror than the road in front of me.
Yeah.
And I would do like, oh my God, where's he at? You know? And I'm like, oh, he's at my grandmother's. Would you chill out? Oh, man. I can't think of any good dreams.
I think we're more prone to remember our traumatic ones, the bad ones.
Yeah. Probably, yeah.
Because they stick with you. I mean, the good ones you wake up, oh, that's a cool dream. But then it goes, it fades.
Yeah.
Mine are always just too
I like
wild.
the really weird ones too.
All mine are just really weird. They're not good or bad. They're just strange. I do know that most of them are
those are my favorite.
They're very frustrating a lot of the time because I want to do a thing in my dream all the time. It doesn't matter what the dream is. There's always some goal I have, and everything that could possibly happen to get in the way of the dream happens. Lots of post-apocalyptic dreams too, where I'm like trying to do a
my
thing.
Life.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not a dream. It's just real.
Oh my gosh. Have y'all seen that meme where it's like the man's equivalent of the you cheated on me in my dream is the you didn't listen to me in the post-apocalyptic world and we died?
No.
It's too true. That happens. That happens in my dreams
so
sometimes.
funny.
I'm so mad about it.
That's so funny. See, okay, we're gonna
so
talk.
funny.
This might be okay. So one of the worst dreams I ever had. This one, I guess we can count this as recurring dreams, but they weren't really related. I had watched. This is why I can't do scary stuff. Okay, I had watched Shaun of the Dead.
The least scary
Not
movie.
Scary. I know, but I still had nightmares about zombies for a solid month. And in one of them, the only one I remember, my little brother was with me and we were our age. Like, so I was in high school. So yeah, he might have also been in high school or might have been like 8th grade. And my brother is the most stubborn butthead. I say this also as a stubborn butthead. Okay. And I was like, we can't go near them. Like they're like, you can't just separate from me. Like you have to stay with me. Like we're going to be okay if we stay together. And he just hops on the back of a truck with somebody and is like, bye. And I was like, and then immediately watched him just be absolutely shredded to bits by zombies. I woke up screaming, sobbing, and I was like, you idiot. and he was just like, what? I ran into his room and I woke up. I was like, you better listen to me no matter what. And he was like, what even? And I was like, I don't care what it is, but if I ever tell you to do something with me, you better, because if not, you're going to die and I will hate you for it. Oh my God. It was so traumatic. I could do nothing but scream and cry in that dream. And oh my God, that was the worst. It's funny now, but oh my God, that's why I can't do zombies. I cannot do zombie things.
Back in the 80s when I had my nightmares, I had a whole series of nuclear war dreams.
Oof.
And the one that I remember the most vivid is we were in this, it was like a little holler, but it was a pretty little place. It was flat, except for the mountain or the hills on both sides with trees. It was forested. There's a little house there. and a Volkswagen.
Yeah.
And 2 or 3 fighter jets went over, and we're like, oh no, it started. We've got to get out of here. So, of course, my sister has to make a bologna sandwich first. So it's one of those, like, you can't leave because,
Gotta eat.
Yeah, when I finally got everybody crammed into this little Volkswagen, there were people crowding around from all over the place. I don't know where they came from because it was just like that one house in woods.
Yeah.
But they were trying to get in or trying to, like, take us with you. And I'm screaming, run over them, just run over them.
Yeah.
It was a horribly traumatic dream. It doesn't sound like that was that much, but in the time there's all that fear you have with it. I was out on a trapping field trip for my mammalogy class when I was in college. And it was a similar type place, but I didn't really put it together until there were actually 2 fighter jets that went over because they would do maneuvers. I was almost under a van before I realized what I was doing.
Oh my gosh.
Because it brought everything back and I was hiding.
Yeah.
Horrible dream.
Dreams are so wild.
Yeah. I mean, these were so bad that I actually went to the library. This is when you had to look up stuff in books and magazines to find out what radiation levels were safe and which ones weren't. I wrote them all down in this notebook.
This is why she's crazy today,
yeah, it is. It is. It was these dreams from the 80s.
Yeah. See, now I have, like, my nightmares. I really could write some novels or movies, and they would probably win a lot of things. Like, I mean, they're like the level of books that you love reading.
And she won't ever write them down for me. What is this?
Because it's scary. But my brother, Colton, has had night terrors, like, his whole life. And I think he still does sometimes, and I think maybe he's sleepwalked a couple of times. But usually he really, it's terrifying whenever he has a night terror because just my whole childhood, I remember there have been times when he would just wake us up screaming bloody murder. Like somebody was absolutely killing him, had to have been. And my poor dad, you're not supposed to wake sleeping people up, but it was so bad that he would try to shake my brother awake because how can you be like living in a dream like that? You can't. And there were a couple of times that Colton did like punched him in the face, like woke up and just swung because he was still in the fight. And I think probably my favorite story to tell of him, he's had so many wild dreams. Like anyway, we were going to New York. My dad and Colton and I were in the truck, and Colton has to sit up front or else he gets car sick, like really bad.
I get that. Yeah,
he's been like that like his whole life, and I can ride anywhere. I can read in the car. Like I can.
Must be nice.
I'm a traveler. Yeah, so.
I make myself car sick driving.
So he was sleeping up front, had the seat back down and everything, and I was laid out in the back with my earbuds on and my book, and I don't know. I forget what state we were in. Probably Ohio, maybe Pennsylvania, and. Out of nowhere, my brother starts mumbling, and then you can hear him mumble, and it gets aggressive the longer he talks. And suddenly he's like screaming. He sits up and points directly in front of us and goes, "Oh my God, there's a plane!" And then he just puts his hands down and goes back to sleep, like lays back down and nothing. And Dad and I are just like, what? So he wakes up a couple minutes later. I'm like, what was that? And he was like, man, there was a plane landing right on the interstate. Did you guys not see that?
That's wild.
We missed it.
Yeah. Oh my God. And he was always convinced that whatever happened was because I'm sure that they were absolutely insanely vivid. But yeah,
That's hilarious.
He has the weirdest dreams. That one I know was probably the most real one he's ever had. He had one about a T-Rex coming over the hill at our house.
That would be scary.
Yeah, it would be. And he basically said, because this is whenever he was little, he basically said that Dad went out with the 22.
I'll take care of it.
Oh, God.
Plenty of firepower.
Right? Yeah. Oh, God. Just He also had one. And this was whenever we were older. Colton and I used to live out in Mason County for a while, and he had a dream that a mountain lion had come to wherever we were living. I don't know, wherever we were, And he said that he was telling me that we had to get really big and loud to make it go away. And I was just like, whatever. And so Colton does it and I do it with him. And then he said that the mountain lion just looks at him and goes, "What a scary human."
That's just weird.
Oh my God.
It's so unimpressed.
I know, right? And he goes, "Did you just sass me?" Like, oh my God, I can't. So that one makes me cry every time. I remember whenever he was telling me about it, he was just in utter disbelief that a mountain lion would ever.
What a scary human.
What a scary human.
Our new catchphrase.
Kind of rude, honestly.
It was rude. He said it was very rude.
I love that.
Oh gosh, I can't even. So funny. On our next episode, we will be doing a crossover episode with
You tried that?
the podcast. It's all about snacks, and apparently they're very funny. I'm going to have to give them a listen before they come on, so I'm excited for that. That should be fun. Snacks and hopefully some books.
I love snacks.
And then after that, we will be doing Carla's nonfiction pick, which is Soul of an Octopus by Cy Montgomery. And it sounds like a really great book. I can't wait to discuss that one. That one should be great. And then after that, we're doing Carla's deep dive, which is going to be Nora Roberts' Born in Fire. So here we go.
It's okay. Fine. You don't get to go to Ireland with me, so we can go to that pub that they're at.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. It's time for us to sign off. But before we go, only the best libraries have librarians who don't shush you.
We do dream about you, though.
Oh, yeah.